Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In this video I'm gonna show you 50 ways to doodle flowers for your bullet journal or your journal in general. First, let's start with a simple daisy. Just a round middle part with some cross hatches as shadow and simple petals. Here I add a few lines on the end of the petal as well as some more petals in the back to make the daisy look a bit fuller. For flower doodle number 2, we're gonna draw a daisy again, but now from the side. You start with drawing an uneven circle and only drawing the leaf petals on the side and the bottom of your daisy. Flower number 3 is really simple. You just draw 4 drop-shaped petals and a little dark circle in the middle. For number 4, we're gonna draw some abstract roses by adding arches around the spiral in the middle. For flower number 5, you start again with the circle with some shadows and add some bigger, more wobbly petals. The next flower is kind of the same as before, but you also add some pointy leaves in between the flower petals. The next doodle is a lavender flower. Herefore, you just need to draw a stem and add a few little dots. Now on to a second version of a simple flowers with small round leaves. Just add a few more rows of leaf to change things up. Number 9 is just a simple branch with some leaves. The next flower starts again with a darker circle, but instead of rounded flower petals, we now draw some more pointy flower petals. If you want to make this kind of flower more into a sunflower shape, just do smaller pointy leaves and a second row of leaves. Or makes the circle in the middle bigger and do way smaller little leaves to change things up a bit. For the next flower, do some more rippled leaves around a black circle in the middle. The next doodle is also a flower from the side, but this time we are doing a way smaller middle part of the flower and bigger leaves. The next doodle is like the daisy, but just with a few flower petals. Now on to a drawing of baby's breath. where you just doodle a few lines with some stars at the end. The next is just a simple branch with some leaves. Now on to a dandelion-inspired flower doodle. The next is another version of a dandelion, and now we are doing a little bit of a more three-dimensional looking flower drawing. Just another small little flower. For number 22, we are doing some little star-shaped flowers, where you do the same little flowers just with pointy leaves. Now on to another flower with pointy leaves, but this one is way bigger, and we add lines inside the petals to give the flower some texture. Now we make a bigger, flowy flower doodle with a few big shapes as petals, which are overlapping, and we add lines in them again. Now onto a very squiggly flower that's a little bit closed, like it hasn't fully bloomed yet. Now another pointy shaped flower, but we overlap the petals. Number 27 is a not yet blossomed flower. Number 28 is a very abstract rose shape made from a spiral. Next is another closed flower blossom. Now on to a more abstract flower. This one is a really fast one where you just set the pen on paper at one point and squiggle some round shapes. The next is quite the opposite, with just a little dot and one squiggly line on the outside. 33 is another flower doodle made out of branches with some little circles and leaves at the end. Now on to another really simple flower drawing where you just draw some abstract round shapes and stars in the middle. Next is another flower from the side. We are using some more pointy flower petals. onto a layered simple flower doodle. The next one is another big flower doodle with some flowy petals and shapes, where you go more for big arches than individually shaped flower petals. Now onto a really different shape of flower doodle. Next is another bundle of lavender, but this time instead of doing some dots, we are just doing some wiggly lines up and down. Next is another circle-shaped flower, like it hasn't fully opened yet. Here we start again with a spiral in the middle and add some petals around later. This one is a more abstract shape as well. We start with hearts inside each other and add some stems. Now on to a more abstract dandelion, just with a snowflake shaped flower head. This one is a more detailed flower doodle. Another simple, not yet blossomed flower. This time we are doing the flower petals separate to the middle part. Here comes another more stylized flower. This time it's a branch again with a few leaves and round-shaped flowers or fruits at the end. And our last flower doodle for this video is another round-shaped blossom. Now on to my final tip for this video, which is to add just a bunch of little leaves like you saw me draw over the whole video, as well as some stars and little sparkles to make your flower doodles more vivid and fun. Thanks so much for watching. Please like if you enjoyed the video and leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. If you want to join me on my creative journey, hit the subscribe button down below.